Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Jeremy Webb. He's a cornerback out of Kansas and a lot of other schools, actually. So, Jeremy, tell me a little bit about your journey, maybe where you're from, and how you ultimately got where you are right now.
Well, I'm from East Mims, Florida, a small town, probably 45 minutes east of Orlando. Um, my journey itself is a crazy one.
No doubt.
I, yeah, I end up going to JUCO out of high school, ASA Brooklyn, to be exact. I spent a year and a half there. My first year was kind of just getting acclimated to everything. I guess college football itself, getting used to the speed of the game is a lot different from high school because you're 18, 19 years old and you're competing against guys since 22, 23, just grown men. So just really getting acclimated to that whole situation. And it kind of happened for me kind of fast. Actually, my first 5 games, I was kind of more of like a role player. I probably back up, doing a lot of special team stuff, just contributing any way I possibly can, try to make the most of my opportunity. And then towards the middle of the season, our coach was looking for guys that got to step up at the position of cornerback. So he gave us an open week to everybody, just, whoever wins the position wins the position. So I ended up winning it out. And it was over with from there. Just dominated, ended up having a really good season my freshman year. My coaches started talking to me about D1 schools that were looking at me and I was interested in whatnot. And then my second year when I came back, I kind of blew up, had a great season, ended up finishing. I think they had me ranked second overall corner in that class. So I ended up getting a lot of interest from a lot of people, a lot of offers, and ultimately ending up at Virginia Tech, a school that I was very interested in as far as their history with their defensive backs. Coach Foster, who was somebody I definitely wanted to play for, just his energy. He's just a legend. It's kind of hard to turn him down, not want to play for him. So that's definitely somebody I see myself wanting to play for. And I know he likes long corners. He likes bigger DBs, guys that are physical and whatnot. So once I seen that, I just hopped on that opportunity to go ahead and just to go out to Virginia Tech and hopefully become another great DB along the path. I ended up getting to Virginia Tech my second day there, I believe. Doing workouts, I ended up tearing my Achilles. So that kind of, ended up tearing my Achilles. So that kind of set me back a little bit. And then just rehabbing that whole process and trying to get back. Clearly not for that season, but just for spring ball or anything. And then down the line, I probably say like 5 months later, I end up tearing the other one. So that definitely set me back. And then just, playing out whatever that whole situation. And then I end up transferring to Missouri State and had a great season there. Led the country in a lot of categories throughout the season. And then ultimately I felt like if I had to come back another year, because I wanted to leave that year, but if I felt like if I needed to come back, I wanted to kind of eliminate the question of can you go against the top guys in the country? Can you go against the top prospects? So I ended up transferring back up out to Kansas because it's a Big 12. They throw the ball a lot, so I will have a lot of opportunities to kind of really showcase my ability against some of the top guys in the country. So I ended up out in Lawrence.
Nice. So, again, obviously, a guy who I know, dude, you've had like this long, arduous journey to get where you are right
man.
now. But despite being, making all these stops along the way, at all these different institutions, still a very desirable prospect at corner. Dude, let's just kind of face it. These are the facts. You are a big dude. You are looking at a 6'3", 200-pound guy with some long arms, some big mitts, that I think a lot of teams at the professional level would be happy to have as an asset because, a guy like you, at least I personally feel like we can move you around at almost any position there in that secondary. So,
Mhm.
um, how do you look at yourself as a prospect going into the league? I mean, what do you feel separates you the most, amongst all your other peers?
Like you said, I think really my size. My size gives me a huge advantage. Like you said, I can be moved around a lot. My whole career I played corner, but I mean, I have like I know I can be able to move in, or I could play the star position, or I could go to safety, or whatever the case is. Like tackling is not an issue for me. I feel like tackling is one of my strong points. So I definitely feel like I'm a plug-in type of guy. Like if you need me to go inside, you feel me, if to cover a tight end or anything like that, like I could be able to do it. So I definitely feel like my size gives me a huge advantage.
So, I mean, as a guy who's obviously a fan of this game, I mean, you always look to the NFL and try and maybe find a guy that's somewhat similar to you or somebody that you could model your game after. Who is
Mhm.
that one corner for you? Who's that one guy that you try to emulate as best as you can?
Just based off of size alone, and I guess physique, I would say Richard Sherman, just to kind of somebody I could definitely see myself as far as like playing whenever I'm watching him and seeing him play. I feel like that's somebody I definitely could aspire to be like. And then as far as just moving around and whatnot, I love the way that the Rams use Jalen Ramsey as far as matchups, whatnot. If he needs to follow number one receivers, he's able to. If they need to put him inside to, I guess, get more into the game, get more action into the game, I feel like that's something I could also do as well.
And so you said there for a little bit that you've mostly lined up like on the outside, like outside corner. So
Mm.
have you moved inside much? Have you played much safety at all? I mean, is that something that you've maybe practiced a little bit, like throughout this process, or what?
Well, usually I'm outside. I haven't been able to, I guess, get really many reps in the inside, but whenever we do, like I travel a lot. So if I do play a guy that's in the slot or in the inside, like that's not an issue for me. That's something that I guess our coaches definitely hit on a lot this past season in Kansas to make sure the guys are able to play all over the field. So it's not really an issue.
So, I mean, again, I mean, kind of already touched on the fact that you've been a journeyman, but I mean, also a guy that I know has developed a whole lot since coming out of high school there in Florida. So, let's talk about maybe how you've developed, if you don't mind. Let's talk about first, like, dude, film room. I mean, obviously, film room. Maybe as a high schooler, maybe not a lot of guys watch at all.
Yeah,
So,
at all.
how has that developed for you over the years, and how have you really made that a part of your game?
Well, I would say recently film has just really became like a cheat code for me versus high school. You know, high school guys are just kind of out there being athletes. They're just out there using their God given ability. And once I really started to actually get into the film room and breaking down stuff as far as like concepts or routes or certain moves that guys like to do, the way they line up, splits, and everything else, it really slowed the game down for me a lot. So I wouldn't say in high school I'll be out there guessing, but it's definitely a more educated guess now. Like I know what these guys like to run out this formation on this down and distance, or when the tight end is offset on the other side, whatever the case is. Like it's definitely something that's allowed me to play a lot faster.
And what about you, like in the weight room? I mean, I know that that's
Mm,
kind of also part of a football player. I mean, you have to try and
mm.
get yourself settled in there and figure out what you're supposed to be doing there and that sort of thing. Like, how have you developed over the years?
Yeah, in high school I wasn't in the weight room at all. I was running away from the weight room because I was just again using God given ability. But you know, once you get to college, that's not something you could do. All these guys are big, all these guys are strong, all these guys are fast. So it's once I got to the college level and I seen that, I said, okay, yeah, I definitely need to take this serious. High school, I was probably about 180, 185. Yeah, the skinny dude. So once I got to college, I started attacking the weight room, taking it serious, and I started seeing the results from it. I started seeing how I was more explosive. I started seeing how I was getting stronger, how I was, able to get off of blocks easier and stuff like that. So that's something I definitely attack, put on some weight, put on some muscle, and it's definitely just been a great asset for me.
So, what's your favorite lift there in the weight room?
I would probably say I'd probably say power clean.
Okay.
Yeah,
And why
I'm
is
proud of
that?
things I've been doing. Just because all the things that the results that you get from it, your explosiveness, it helps with a lot of stuff running, your vertical, all kind of stuff. So that's definitely something I like getting better at.
Cool. So I mean, it's great that you've developed into obviously the prospect that you are today, and I
Mm.
do know that there are people that are curious about you, coming up to the next level in the pro. So, um, dude, I know you've had a lot of great moments as you've mentioned. So, you may want to share at least one of those if you don't mind. I mean, what's that one moment, whether it be a tackle or an INT or just any moment out there on the field that you want to share with people as one of the highlights of your journey.
Initially, a lot of people would probably think the Kansas versus Texas game this past season, but I would think for me personally, probably my first game back starting at Missouri State when we played against Oklahoma. Um, just kind of because that was really my first game back after my injuries and whatnot at Virginia Tech. So that game kind of just gave me back my confidence, gave me back my swagger, for lack of better words, to know that I still can play with these guys. I end up having, I think, 2 pass deflections and an interception. So just going against one of the top, top receiving cores in the country at the time, and one of the top QB prospects as well. And knowing that I could play with anybody, knowing I could stick with anybody, because that was probably one of my biggest concerns coming off of my injury is I will still be able to be the same athlete or even better. So then once I did go out there and compete at that high level, it kind of propelled me to that next level.
Gotcha. Jeremy, you mentioned a couple of times like the fact that you've gone through this adversity of injuries. So,
Mm.
how have you been lately? Like, obviously, you've been out there, competing, but tell me how you have persevered through that, despite your circumstances, and really where you're at these days.
I would say just the whole situation itself, it was definitely a tough situation, especially with the short time span, which each of them happened back to back. I think it was like maybe 5 months apart. But it was just something that I feel like on the back end kind of made me the player that I am today. Um, just knowing that there's certain stuff that you can't control, but you can work towards getting better at the situation. You can just start working. You can't really cry over spilled milk. It already happened, and just really, really, I guess, you digging deep within myself and knowing and asking myself, is this something that I really want to do? Is this something that you really love? Because if you didn't love the game of football, I promise you wouldn't, come back after 2 Achilles tears. I know guys that end up stop playing after one. So it was something I kind of committed to myself once it happened. I was like, you're all in or you're all out. So after that, I made that decision, I was just ready to work whatever it took to get back to where I wanted to be. That's what I was going to do, and I'm fortunate enough to be here today.
Great. And dude, why do you actually love this game of football? I mean, what made you get through all of that adversity and really, why do you still play today?
Because I feel like the most humblest way I can say this, I feel like I know I'm great at this sport. I know I'm great at what I do. I feel like I'm one of the top guys at what I do. I can compete with anybody. So that was definitely just like I feel like I'm so great at something. Why give up on it? Why quit because you had a roadblock instead of just keep going, getting around it, and keep working. So that's just I just love this game, man. I can't really tell you why. It's just something I've been doing since I was 4 years old. So it's just in me.
Gotcha. And obviously a guy who, at the very least, displayed in your pro day, with
Mm.
a pretty darn good vert of 37.5.
Yeah.
That your Achilles for the most part is fairly healthy. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about your pro day if you don't mind. How do you feel like you did overall?
I feel like I did really good. Just going out there, be able to do all the DB drills, show how fluid I am, show my burst out of my break. We did a few, I guess, press type of drills, so be able to show my strength and my length at the line and everything else. So I feel like I did pretty good.
Is that kind of how you see yourself as like a press man, like corner, or what?
Oh yeah, for sure. Big guy, got long arms. I get my hand on receivers at the line. To try to disrupt the time between them and the quarterback. And yeah, I definitely, I'm a press guy for sure.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, dude, I want to get a chance to meet this guy outside of this game a little bit. So,
Mm.
talk to me a little bit about who this Jeremy Webb guy is. Any of your interests or hobbies or anything you got going on in your life that you want to share.
I would say Jeremy Webb. He's just a guy that's a clown. I like having a good time, man. I like making sure everybody's having a good time, whether I'm with my family or with my friends or teammates or whoever it is. Interest, I would say I love music. I love, just I guess what music does for everybody, but a lot of people come together over music. So that's something that I love to do. Other than that, I'm a football and weight room junkie. So I'm kind of engulfed by the whole football situation.
So you say you're a big music guy. So I mean, what's your
Yeah.
jam these days, man? Like, who you listening to?
Oh man, I listen to I'm just go ahead and say it. I listen to Drake. That's my guy. I'm a huge Nipsey Hussle fan. Right now I'm probably playing a lot of Lil Durk.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Hey, no, that's all right, man. I mean, obviously you gotta, whatever gets you going these days. So I mean,
Man.
it's all good. So, um, a couple other quick questions, hopefully, that'll just be fun. So, favorite movie?
Oh, I would probably say you put me on the spot because I got a lot of good ones. I would probably say I've been saying this the last couple of times. Probably Interstellar.
Okay, definitely an
Yeah,
interesting movie at the very least. Make you think. So,
yeah, for sure.
let's see. You have a TV show that you like to, watch or binge that you've binge watched recently?
I'm a big Power guy. I love Power. I love Power. And then lately, I'm kind of I don't know how I feel about saying this, but I've been watching Insecure. I just finished it probably about a week or so ago, and that's something I was probably watching a lot recently.
No, that's all right, man. A show is a show, so no sweat on that. So, you got like maybe like a dream car that maybe hopefully one day you'll be able to purchase.
Yeah, I gotta get that color, man. I gotta get that big boy, that Rolls Royce. I gotta get that. I
Gotcha.
gotta get that.
Also, I mean, when we're thinking about, opportunities to get to the NFL, I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes guys are looking for people that can maybe give back to the community. So,
Mhm.
have you thought about perhaps how you might actually do that? Once you are able to have that opportunity.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm big with my community. I love my community. I love where I'm from, and we have a little league football team that I grew up in my whole life. All my friends, older guys that looked out for me and everything else. So that's definitely something I would love to get back to.
Cool. Talk to me about your hometown if you don't mind. I mean, if I were to come visit you in your hometown, like what would we have to do? Where would we have to go?
Oh, we would just go outside and hang out with the guys. We'd just go have a good time, whatever it is for the day. We might go out to the river, hop on the jet skis, or might go around the corner and be a car show, whatever the case is. Yeah, we'll just have a good time.
Hey, dude, sounds good for real.
Yeah.
So, obviously a fairly laid back guy who can get the job done there on the football field.
Mm.
A guy that I know that there are scouts that are obviously watching, maybe curious as to what you bring to the table. So,
Mm.
close us out with our time, buddy. I mean, I want you to take an opportunity, look directly in that camera, speak to any scout that might be watching this video and give them your pitch. Tell them why they need to sign you, draft you, and what you would bring to their team if they took a chance on you. So go ahead and hit them with that.
I would say the reason that I need to be on your team is I feel like I'm a complete, just overall, just a war daddy. Somebody you would love to go into the game with, somebody that's gonna give you their all. You a great teammate. I always been a great teammate. In fact, I would like to say I might be a team favorite on every team that I've been on, but I'm gonna let them decide that. But nah, just a hard worker overall. Somebody that's ready to get the job done. You're not gonna have to worry about, as far as accountability wise, somebody that you could count on for sure.
Yeah, and dude, I'm just gonna kind of go back to it because I do feel like it is one of the best things you got going for you, whether it's simple
Mm,
or not. But
mm,
it is you have a rare size
mm,
as a defensive back. I mean, you're looking at a guy about 6'3", 200 pounds, long, 33-inch arms, 10-inch hands. You know, a guy who is able to shut somebody down as a press corner before they even get going. So
yeah,
like
man.
obviously a guy that I know a lot of teams really covet, defensive backs like you.
Mm,
So somebody's going to give you that opportunity. So do wish you best of luck in this whole process, but I
I
mean I know that
appreciate
there's
it,
a
man.
lot going on. So
I appreciate it for sure.
uh, you take care of yourself, and thanks again for this interview. All right.
Appreciate you so much, man. Take care.
Thanks, no problem. Once again, Jeremy Webb, defensive back out of Kansas. Definitely check him out.